Hello, everyone. This is Sean from Barry Digital Media, and I hope you are doing well. Today, I am asking how can we remember names better? And I have two simple tips to improve upon that, and then a couple bonus posts just because they came up as I was researching. So, my first one is, and it's kind of obvious, but it has to be said. It's just you need more experience. So if you're going out to a conference, if you're going out to a friend's place or a small party for your first time, you're probably not going to be great at remembering names. And what you need to do is go out there and go to more events. And just like anything, the more experience you take, the more tips you will gain, and you will get a better tongue for remembering people's names. And then the nice thing about it is especially if you go to networking events in a specific niche, then you will run into the same people over and over again. So then maybe there's one person that you don't know, but there will be another person that you do know. So then, yes, I see Bob over there and I know Bob's name, but who is the person next to Bob? Well, next to Bob is Sandra. Well, Bob and Sandra, nice to meet you. Then the next time it might be Bob and Sandra and Tracy. Bob, Sandra, and Tracy. And now you know three people's names. And then maybe you haven't seen one person in a while, but at least you'll have a general idea of what their names are. And this just comes with constantly going out there and going to network, and you'll build that muscle memory. And then you'll have this tip, but then also my next tip, as well as the several other tips that you have to remember people's names in your back pocket. So you'll have all these different kind of skills, and then on your 7th, 8th time going to events, maybe 17th time, you'll remember people's names, and people will be impressed by that, and you'll look more like someone who is good at networking. Okay, so my second tip is a more grounded one, but it's just rhyming people's names with, rhyming people's names off. So if the person's name is Bob, then what rhymes with Bob? Well, job, rob, sob, mob, cob, knob, lob. And you go through that list, and before you know it, you have seven different reference points. So then when you're at the party later on trying to remember the person's name, or if you're reflecting on your event afterwards, you can think back, well, I don't remember Bob's name, but it rhymed with sob, and it was kind of like mob. It sounded a lot like cob as well. He was kind of a knob. He lobbed a lot while he talked. Was he brothers with Bob? And you can play all these different kind of mental games with yourself that will help bring Bob's name back into the light. Similarly, here's an example for a name called Charlie. Barley, Harley, Marley, Farley, Parley, Carly, Barley, alternate spelling. And then ChatGPT also recommended a couple near or slant names, but I don't quite think that those work as well. It's, and with this name here, or with this name Charlie here, it's funny because I like the name Marley, and then Harley is a name of a bike. So you have all these different additional clues that layer on top of that. Additionally, like parley, that is like a discussion. So I had a good parlay with Charlie when we were meeting with Bob, who lobbed a great idea. Sounds simple enough. Anyways, so here's some additional tips that I had found. Something that I find helpful is to say their name back as soon as they say it. Hi, I'm John. Then you say, it's a pleasure to meet you, John. Using the name while you're looking at their face may help you commit it to memory. If you feel you need a little more help, try saying it twice. John, it's nice to meet you, John. Hope this helps. So, this is a pretty good strategy. I like to use it once in a while, and it's it definitely takes a discipline to do this because surprisingly, people, when you're saying their names, don't pronounce it that well. And so it's difficult to hear their name. So you have to impose sometimes and ask them to repeat their name maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times for them to pronounce it loud enough where you can hear their name. And then you can repeat it back to them. And then let's just take a look at what Google here says for its own tips. To improve your ability to remember names, focus on the person, ask questions, make connections, and create strong associations. Immediately after meeting someone, pause for a few seconds, visualize the name, and try to connect it with a person or object you know. Later, you can reinforce the memory by writing the name down, saying it again in conversation, or introducing them to someone else. That's actually two additional great points there from Google. One being that after you reflect on your meeting, you have an opportunity to write down people's names. And then you always have their name in a sense. Plus, if you're going to another networking event inside that industry, then you can look back at those people that you had met and look back at those names. And then again, another really good one is introducing somebody else to the person that you just met and then saying their name out loud, because that shows the person that you just met a lot of respect, let's say, as well as showing the new person that, or helping out the new person hear the other person's name within the introduction. So you're setting them off in a good direction just from your introduction. Before the meeting, be mindful and attentive. When you meet someone, a lack of attention is the main reason names are forgotten. Practice mindfulness to improve your overall memory skills. At the moment of introduction, listen carefully to the person's name. Pause for a few seconds after hearing it, as immediate repetition can actually interfere with memory encoding. Visualize the name, written on their forehead or connected to a visual image like a picture of a rose flower for someone named Rose. Create an association, such as linking the name to someone you know or a famous person with the same name. During the conversation, use the name naturally in conversation, perhaps asking a simple question using their name. Introduce them to someone else you meet, which forces you to recall their name. After the conversation, mentally review the new person's name and face. Write down the name and other important attributes soon after meeting to reinforce the memory. Acknowledge when you forget and politely ask someone to remind you of their name. Many people respect this as a sign of genuine interest. Yes, the last point there is a skill within itself. One of the most common things people know is that it's easy to forget people's names or mishear them. So when you ask them to repeat their name, it shows that you are genuinely really trying to learn what their name is, and Sometimes people have names that they know that it's hard to pronounce, or that they know that it's like somebody from another country, and you don't. It's an uncommon name for the current area, and you might have difficulty pronouncing it. So it's understandable. And then again, Google here gives us several different tips. And like what I was saying before, by having 10 different tools inside your knapsack on how to remember names, you can always use those and refine them. So then when you do get out there those several different times, you can maybe use my rhyming strategy mixed in with picturing the person's name, and you're using all these different tools, and you're becoming a master of remembering people's names. And because you have all that experience, and because you have all those tools, it'll be really impressive for everyone around you. Well, I hope you liked this. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.